She never saw it coming. One moment, she was working, just another shift at the service center. Then next, everything went dark. He had been there earlier, walked in like any other customer, smiled, left without a problem. No one suspected a thing. No one knew what was coming. But when he returned, he wasn't the same man. A gun, a single moment, and then chaos. By the time the police arrived, it was already too late. But the danger wasn't over. Because on the second floor, crouched behind a desk, he was waiting. A revolver in his hands. 5 officers, weapons drawn. A standoff. And, in the next few seconds, another life was taken. 2 bodies. A child left alone. And an entire city asking why. September 21st, 2023. At the Toyota of Berkeley Service Center, 24-year-old Alana Gallon arrived at work just like any other day. She was just a young woman going about her life. She had a job, a routine, a son she adored. Every morning, she woke up, got ready, and went to work at the Toyota Service Center. It wasn't just a job, it was stability, something to build her future on. Her coworkers knew her as hardworking, always on the move, juggling responsibilities with a kind of quiet determination that made her stand out. She wasn't just another employee. She was a mother providing for her child, a woman rebuilding her life. Her mother Yvonne would often say that her daughter was goofy once you got to know her. Aside from herself, she shared with those lucky enough to earn her trust. The bond between Alana and her 7-year-old son King wasn't just a mother-child relationship. They were best friends. Every decision Alana made, every extra shift she picked up, every dream she pursued had King at its center. Her mother Yvonne watched as her daughter poured endless love into creating a world of possibilities. For her little boy King was Alana's pride and joy, and she had such beautiful plans for his future. She'd light up talking about his love for football and basketball, already mapping out ways to support his athletic dreams. But it wasn't just about sports. Alana was building a college fund determined to give King every educational opportunity possible. Their daily routine was filled with those precious moments that make up a childhood, homework sessions, bedtime stories, and conversations about his day. Even when juggling multiple jobs, Alana made sure King knew he was her priority. She wasn't just raising a son, she was nurturing a future she should have been part of. And then there was Lamar Walker. Before we continue with the heartbreaking story, I need to pause for a moment. If you're watching this video right now, chances are you know someone, a friend, a family member, or maybe even yourself, who's dealing with a difficult relationship situation. You might see the signs but feel helpless about what to do. Here's what I want you to do right now. If this story resonates with you, hit that subscribe button and share this video. Because somewhere out there, someone needs to hear this story. Someone needs to know they're not alone. The more we talk about these situations, the more lives we might save. Drop a heart emoji in the comments if you've ever helped someone through a tough relationship, or if you've been that person who needed help. Let's create a community where we can openly discuss these issues and support each other. Your comment might be the sign someone else needs to seek help or offer help to others. They had history. They had a son, but they weren't together anymore. Whatever love once existed between them had faded, leaving behind something else, something complicated. Co-parenting wasn't always easy, but they managed. There were drop-offs, pickups, birthdays, school meetings. 2 parents navigating a shared responsibility. To the outside world, they were civil. There were no public fights, no police reports, no restraining orders. Just 2 people tied together by the life of a little boy. Lamar had no known criminal record, no documented violence, no history of arrests. If you searched his name before that day, you wouldn't find anything alarming. Just a man, 24 years old, trying to figure out his place in the world. But relationships are never as simple as they seem from the outside. Words left unspoken, moments left unresolved. They have a way of building quietly in the background. And sometimes they explode in ways no one sees coming. Did anyone notice the signs? Were there late-night messages, quiet arguments, uneasy moments that hinted at something more? Or was it truly out of nowhere? Alana Gallon probably asked herself those same questions. Maybe she thought everything was fine. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she had an uneasy feeling when he walked in that morning with a Starbucks cup in hand. Maybe she brushed it off, thinking it was just another visit. Or maybe, just maybe, she knew something wasn't right, but by the time she realized it, it was too late. It was just after 11 a.m. when Lamar Walker entered the dealership. In his hand, nothing but a Starbucks drink. He was calm, composed. He knew exactly where to go. Employees noticed him, but no one gave it a second thought. After all, he wasn't a stranger here. He had been here before. He had a reason to be here. At the counter stood Alana Gallon, an employee who had no idea this would be the last time she'd see him like this. Just a man bringing her a drink. They spoke for a moment. Their words? No one remembers. There was no shouting, no tension, no warning signs. Then, just as easily as he arrived, he was gone. For the next few hours, the service center continued as usual. Customers came and went. Mechanics focused on their work. Alana carried on, perhaps thinking nothing of the visit. Maybe she assumed it was just a simple gesture. Or maybe, just maybe, there was something in his eyes that unsettled her. And then he returned. Only this time, there was no drink in his hand. No friendly conversation. No quiet departure. Instead, there was a gun. A single shot cracked through the air, sending shock waves through the building. For a split second, no one moved. Then chaos. Employees ducked, customers ran. The sound of panicked voices filled the service center. Alana collapsed. Life was stolen from her in an instant. Lamar didn't run. He didn't make a scene. He walked further inside, disappearing from sight, as if he was waiting for something. Or maybe someone. Outside, the call had already been made. Police sirens wailed in the distance, growing louder by the second. The hunt was on. But inside that building, the nightmare wasn't over yet. The first 911 call came in just seconds after the gunshot. The dispatcher's voice was calm, controlled. The caller wasn't. In the background, shouts, confusion, footsteps running in every direction. Then, a chilling sentence. A woman's been shot. The shooter is still inside. Berkeley police arrived within minutes. Lights flashing. Tires screeching. Officers move fast. But this wasn't just a crime scene. It was an active threat. The service center was large. Multiple rooms, narrow hallways, a second floor with hidden corners. A place where someone could be anywhere. They moved in formation, weapons drawn, clearing one room at a time. Albany PD. Show your hands. But silence met them. No movement. No response. The tension thickened. On the first floor, they found Alana Gallon. Unmoving. The pool of blood beneath her grew by the second. A medic rushed in, but there was nothing to be done. She was already gone. The officers pressed on. Somewhere inside this building, the man who pulled the trigger was still waiting. Then a sound. A rustle from upstairs. The second floor was dimly lit, lined with desks and cubicles. If he was up there, he had cover. A dangerous advantage. The team moved quickly, fanning out, hearts pounding. And then they saw him, crouched low behind a desk, still as a statue. The dim light caught the shape of something in his hands. Not a phone. Not a plea for mercy. A gun. A silver revolver aimed directly at the entryway. For a brief second, no one moved. No one spoke. The standoff had begun. Drop the weapon, one officer commanded. No response. Another officer stepped forward. Put it down now. Still nothing. Lamar Walker wasn't surrendering. He wasn't running. He was waiting. 5 officers. 5 triggers at the ready. Time was slipping away. If he fired first, one of them might not make it out. Another command. Another second of silence. Then movement. It was all the officers needed. The air exploded with gunfire. The deafening echo of multiple rounds filled the room. And just like that, it was over. Lamar Walker was gone. The service center fell quiet once more. No more screams. No more footsteps. Just the heavy breathing of officers and the distant wail of sirens. 2 lives ended in a matter of minutes. One by choice, the other by force. And now, all that remained was a crime scene, a heartbroken family, and a child who had lost everything. One moment, one trigger pull, one choice, and a little boy's entire world collapsed. He was only 7 years old, too young to understand the weight of what had happened, too young to process why his mother never came home that night, why his father was never coming back. Did he hear the news from a relative? A neighbor? Did he sit at the kitchen table, feet barely touching the floor, as someone struggled to find the right words? Or was it at school, where an unfamiliar adult pulled him aside, speaking in hushed tones, trying to explain the unexplainable? He wasn't just a victim of loss. He was a victim of something much bigger, something he never asked to be part of. Domestic violence doesn't just take lives. It destroys what's left behind. And now this child, this innocent boy, was caught in the aftermath. Right now I need to pause this story for a moment. If you're watching this video, you might be feeling overwhelmed by the weight of what happened to Alana. That's exactly why we need to talk about it. Hit that like button if you believe we need more awareness about workplace safety and domestic violence prevention. But I want to do more than just raise awareness. Alana's son King is growing up without both his parents being raised by his grandmother and the community. A GoFundMe page was created in his name, an effort to provide for his future. Strangers, friends, even those who had never met his parents donated. Over $40,000 poured in. Money that could never replace what was lost. But maybe, just maybe, it could help him find stability in a world that no longer made sense. But money isn't the only thing he needs. He needs support. He needs a community that won't let him be forgotten. He needs people who understand that violence doesn't just end with the final gunshot. It leaves scars that never fully heal. This tragedy wasn't just about 2 lives lost. It was about a child left to navigate a world that suddenly felt emptier. And it was about a community now forced to ask itself, could anything have been done to stop this? Share your thoughts in the comment. Violence doesn't always start with a gunshot. It starts in the shadows, quiet, unnoticed. A raised voice, a controlling glance, a door slammed a little too hard, a message left unanswered because someone is too afraid to reply. This is domestic violence, and it's more common than most people realize. In the United States, over 1 in 3 women, 35.6%, and 1 in 4 men, 28.5%, have experienced some form of intimate partner violence. That's not just a number. That's millions of lives affected. Millions of people live in fear, trapped in relationships that slowly strip them of their freedom, their confidence, and sometimes their lives. Every 9 seconds in America, a woman is assaulted or beaten. That's not an exaggeration. That's a brutal reality. A woman is attacked right now. Another right now. And again right now. Yet, so many of these incidents go unreported. Why? Because leaving isn't as simple as walking away. Fear holds victims in place. Fear of what happens if they try to leave. Fear of not being believed. Fear of having nowhere to go. Some don't report because they think no one will listen. Some stay because they believe things will change. And some never get the chance to leave at all. Alana Gallon was a young mother. She had a job. She had a life. To those around her, she was strong, independent, moving forward. But was there something behind the scenes no one saw? Did she ever feel unsafe? Did she ever worry that one day things would go too far? Lamar Walker had no known history of violence, no criminal record, no public signs of danger. But that's the thing about domestic violence. It doesn't always leave a paper trail. It happens behind closed doors, in moments no one else witnesses. And sometimes, by the time the world realizes what's been happening, it's already too late. How many other victims are out there right now, trapped in a situation they can't escape? How many stories will end the same way Alana's did? And how many could be saved, if only someone saw the signs in time? In the eyes of the law, this was more than just a murder. It was an act of domestic violence, a tragic example of how intimate relationships can turn deadly. Multiple agencies quickly became involved in the investigation. The Albany Police Department, the Berkeley Police Department, the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, each one piecing together the puzzle of what happened inside that service center, trying to understand why it ended the way it did. Investigations were launched simultaneously, and the Albany Police Department took the lead on investigating Alana's homicide, working to piece together the events that led to that fatal morning. Meanwhile, the Alameda County Sheriff's Office focused on the officer-involved shooting that resulted in Walker's death. The Alameda County District Attorney's Office initiated their own independent investigation into the police shooting, ensuring all protocols were followed during the confrontation. At the same time, the Berkeley Police Department conducted an internal review, examining their response and any potential areas for improvement in their procedures for Alana's family, particularly her mother Yvonne. These investigations brought more questions than answers. They sought to understand not just the events of that day, but also how the system could better protect others in similar situations. The family's frustration grew as they waited for basic information about Alana's belongings and the specific details of her injuries. On November 3, 2023, 6 weeks after the tragedy, the Berkeley Police Department released a comprehensive package of evidence to the public. This included surveillance footage from the dealership body camera recordings and audio from the 911 calls that poured in that morning. The decision to release this footage came as part of the department's commitment to transparency. The footage revealed the horrifying final moments of Alana's life, showing Walker's approach to her desk, their brief interaction, and the devastating shot that followed. For Alana's family, particularly her mother, watching these final moments was an unbearable experience that no parent should have to endure. The release of this evidence sparked renewed discussions about workplace safety and domestic violence prevention. While the footage provided clarity about the sequence of events, it also raised questions about what could have been done differently to prevent such a tragedy. But the truth is, justice, real justice, doesn't always come swiftly. And for many victims of domestic violence, it never comes at all. Typically, when an abuser is arrested, they face charges ranging from assault to attempted murder, or, in cases like this, homicide. If they survive, they stand trial. Evidence is presented. Witnesses testify. Prosecutors argue for a conviction, while defense attorneys work to find out. But how many victims have to suffer before the system intervenes? Restraining orders can be filed, but a piece of paper can't stop a bullet. Police reports can be made, but warnings aren't always enough. Judges can issue protective orders, but they don't guarantee safety. Statistics show that up to 75% of women killed by their intimate partners were murdered after trying to leave. Alana Gallon didn't have the chance to file a report. She didn't get a day in court. She didn't get a second chance. Because before the legal system could even get involved, it was already over. For many survivors of domestic abuse, seeking justice is a battle of its own. Courtrooms aren't always safe places. Trials drag on for months, sometimes years. Victims are forced to relive their worst moments on the witness stand while their abusers sit just feet away. Some cases never make it to trial at all. Evidence disappears. Witnesses refuse to testify. Abusers walk free on technicalities, and victims are left to wonder, was it even worth it? But what happens when justice is never an option? For Alana Gallon, the legal system won't bring her back. For Lamar Walker, there will be no trial, no sentencing, no prison cell. His story ended the moment the officers pulled the trigger. But what about the next case? The next victim? The next person who doesn't know that their partner is capable of taking their life. The system reacts after the damage is done, but who steps in before it's too late? For Alana Gallon, help didn't come in time. But what if someone had seen the signs? What if there had been a way out before things turned deadly? Right now, there are thousands of people trapped in dangerous situations. Some are afraid to leave. Some don't know how. And some don't even realize they're in danger until it's too late. For those living in fear, there are lifelines. The National Domestic Violence Hotline, available 24/7. A single call, 800-799-7233, could be the first step toward safety. Local shelters, hidden locations designed to protect survivors from those who wish to harm them. A place to escape, to breathe, to plan the next move. Counseling services. Healing doesn't end once a person escapes. The trauma lingers. The nightmares don't stop overnight. Professional help is the key to rebuilding a life once torn apart by fear. But knowing these resources exist isn't enough. Too often, neighbors, coworkers, friends, they notice something feels off. A sudden change in behavior. Bruises covered with long sleeves. Excuses that don't quite make sense. But they stay silent. It's not my business. They would leave if it was really that bad. I don't want to get involved. That silence can be deadly. Imagine if someone had spoken up. If someone had asked Alana the right questions. If someone had stepped in before the gunfire. Would she still be here? Would her son still have his mother? We will never know. This isn't just a problem for law enforcement. It's not just something that happens on the news. It's happening everywhere, every day. And it won't stop unless people take action. Educate yourself. Learn the warning signs. Understand the cycle of abuse. Support organizations. Donate. Volunteer. Share their messages. Speak up. If you suspect someone is in danger, don't turn away. Don't assume someone else will step in. Your voice might be the one that saves a life. Asterisk. Because for every person who finds the courage to escape, there's another who never gets the chance. Now, I want to hear from you. This story isn't just about one tragedy. It's about a problem that affects millions. And change starts with conversation. What do you think? Should communities do more to protect victims before violence escalates? What role should friends, neighbors, and coworkers play? How can we spread awareness? Do you believe people recognize the signs of domestic violence, or are they too easy to overlook? What can be done to prevent this from happening again? Stricter laws? More support for survivors? What real solutions exist? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice matters. Someone reading might be in danger right now, and your words could be the push they need to seek help. And if you or someone you know is in an unsafe situation, please reach out. There are people who want to help. There are ways to escape. You are not alone. Let's start the conversation. Because silence can be deadly. 2 lives lost. 1 child was left behind. A tragedy that should have never happened. We've uncovered the details. We've seen the devastating effects. We've asked the difficult questions. But now, the most important question remains. What happens next? Key takeaways. Domestic violence is a crisis affecting millions, often in silence. Victims face immense obstacles in seeking help and protection. The legal system reacts after the damage is done, but intervention must come sooner. Awareness, education, and community action are the strongest weapons against domestic violence. But information alone won't change anything. Action will. What you can do right now. Support organizations. Donate, volunteer, spread awareness. Educate yourself and others. Know the warning signs. Share resources. Advocate for change. push for stronger policies that protect victims and hold abusers accountable. And if you or someone you know is in danger, reach out. There are people who will listen. There are ways to escape. You are not alone. This story doesn't have to repeat itself. The cycle can be broken, but it starts with all of us. If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, help is available. National Domestic Violence Hotline. Call 800-799-7233 or text START to 88788 for confidential support 24/7. Love is respect. For young adults and teens facing relationship abuse, call 866-331-9474 or text LOVEIUS to 22522. Safe Horizon offers support and resources for survivors. Visit safehorizon.org or call 1-800-621-HOPE for 673. Local shelters and advocacy groups. Search for domestic violence shelters in your area. Many provide emergency housing, legal aid, and counseling. You don't have to go through this alone. There are people who care. There are people who will listen. And there is always a way out. Thank you for joining us today and for being part of this crucial conversation. If you found this video informative, please consider subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you'll stay updated on content that informs and empowers. Sharing this video can make a difference. Together, we can raise awareness about domestic violence and its profound impact on individuals and communities. Remember, change begins with awareness, but it flourishes through action. Let's stand together against domestic violence and support those affected. Thank you for watching, and see you in my next video.